Hey, Frank, trying to get my top 5 muscle car challenge Tom North video done. Nominated by Count 5. Awesome. Go check him out. Everybody should be nominated to do this, so I'm not going to nominate anyone else. If you have a YouTube channel, you should have a video like this and your favorite castings and all that, and also one about how you got started collecting. If you saw one of my old videos about how I got started collecting, you'll see why I kind of collect with a vengeance, and you'll understand maybe me a little bit better. But anyway, enjoy my top 5. I think these are the top 5 best muscle cars, better than anyone else's. So get it while it's hot. I think for everybody, the Gasser 55 Chevy really is what it was all about, even though that's not considered a muscle car. I mean, my dad's first stories about, modifying it and racing this car, pulling up to a stoplight and racing someone else. This is when it was what it was all about for him. But that's not really the muscle car, because you had to modify it to get it to be that way. And for me, the first time you really have a muscle car that you could just drive off the lot with and maybe afford it, and have a practical car that was just street ready to race at a stoplight and take your girlfriend out to a movie, make out in the back seat or the front seat, plenty of room for your friends to hang out on a Friday night. That's the muscle car right there. The GTO is the original, the godfather of muscle cars right there. So for me, that's my number one, the Pontiac GTO. Specifically, like 64, 65, 66, 67. This was my favorite. I wasn't alive during that time. I'm just saying this is my favorite of those years when the muscle car was the most popular. And everyone loves the GTO, and I do too, but the judge to me, begins the 70s, where the muscle cars become kind of obsolete, and this is kind of, to me, where that starts to begin to look like a gas guzzling, too big kind of thing, whereas this just has the right stance for me and stuff. So really, this is my number one muscle car, the godfather, the GTO. And then, right away everyone would think, yes, the Mustang, and I guess the Mustang bosses in the 70s, some of them early 70s, qualify as a muscle car. These are just too light. This to me would be its own category, like a pony car or something. So I don't even put them in the running. All right, and then modern day muscle cars, you see modern day Challengers. This is a concept, but the modern day Challengers, and this is a Hot Wheels concept Challenger, but it looks similar. I'm saying they've done the best job at making it look still like a classic muscle car to me, of all the other new muscle car kind of remakes that are out. So I have to give that credit, although it's not my favorite modern muscle car. I'd say that the Monte Carlo or the Grand National are my favorites. So I just love that. It reminds me of the Guido 80s era. But right before I was able to get a car, like, this was one that I would want, with the radio banging, and still, again, compared to, say, a Mustang, this was one that you could have your friends in and your girlfriend in, and be going out and hanging out at Nathan's in the parking lot with your radio up. And then the Roadrunner, again, this is a good reason why I can go back to why I like the GTO. Is just, the GTO was the original GOAT, the tiger, the marketing of it, the marketing of a muscle car. That's why it really deserves a lot of credit. And the Roadrunner also had that great idea of having the Roadrunner similar to the, cartoon. It had a cool name, and it also looked cool. And to me, still has that, the muscle cars of the good times look to it. You know what I'm saying? Before it kind of goes into the 70s stage, like where they look like this. And in that stage, the Chevelle then becomes my favorite of the 70s, I think. So, with that look, I kind of like that look better than the GTO's look then. Where the GTO goes into the Judge, I then like the Chevelle body style. And then I would say competing with my number one, if it wasn't about the history of the Judge that I appreciate, and I do, that's why I appreciate this car the most, the Judge, is because of the history of it. The Dodge Daytona, Dodge Charger in general competes with the GOAT, the GTO. And this, when you come out with the wing and you see that driving out on the road, and also it didn't just mean style, it was like performance. This is really the best performing muscle car right here, on a road and track. 69 Daytona, the Hemi. And even though I'm not so strictly loving Dodge, just you gotta bow down to the Hemi here. And this is probably the most badass muscle car. If you saw one of those pull up next to you, it's looking badass. And here's the Joe Dirt version. So my favorite muscle cars, all about the classic ones with the GTO in the lead. And maybe nowadays a Challenger, but really it's about these two right here. That one right there. That one. And the Roadrunner.